to today's episode, maybe we'll have two or three today, of Are You Tired of This Shit? Still batting 1,000. Everybody's tired of it. No one said it's great. Let's keep doing what we're doing. So we're really deep in the political season right now, where it really should be going strong because we have something very important to do. We're lucky today to have a friend of mine, Malik Rahim, who is in Algiers, from Algiers, lives there. Malik is someone I've known probably 12, 13 years. I was introduced to him by Bob Tucker, who I knew almost forever, who's sadly passed away now, Mr. Tucker. And Malik is someone who has got a whole lot of heart, a whole lot of passion, a whole lot of care for our city and the people in it. And he's got a lot of fire in him, which drives him, which is wonderful. But this man has done a whole lot of hands-on good. I mean, from planting trees, in the wetlands, to in his career organizing health clinics, community services, just whatever it takes. And he's quite candid about where we are today and what we need to do. And like my friend's friendship with other people that I've met all over in the community, is that when we think alike about what's going on and what we can do to fix it, well, that's a pretty good connection to develop and compare notes. And what's interesting is that you'll see what he says. So let's take a listen. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Are You Tired of This Shit? We're fortunate today to have my friend I've known for, 10, 12 years, something like that, Malik Rahim from Algiers. Malik is, he still has the only address that I know in my head in Algiers that I can get to. And he's someone that I've discussed things about New Orleans and what are solutions to our problems, and someone that I just agree with. I agree with him. He makes the most sense. It's pragmatic. It's practical. He has an incredible hands-on record of doing just positive things. So, Malik, this program is about outcomes, and if you look at it, they haven't changed. We've been on. If you look at institutions, everything the city does operationally, for in the field or in the office, well, it's us citizens who own the city, it's like we're not being treated like customers, okay? And the net result of it all is that we're losing people, and that's like somebody in the hospital losing blood. It's just it all crashes at some point. So I'm just curious, what have your observations been, and what do you think? Why do you think we're stuck in this downward? It's a value destruction spiral. Is really what it is. So what's going on here that voters can do something about?
Well, Laney, it's an honor to be on your show. When you called, I had to be here. I believe our city, for as long as I'll be 78 in December. And as long as I could remember, we have been drunk on prosperity. It's easy to have a drunken person behind the wheel when they can't run into nothing. But now it's starting to be that they can run into something. Where we stand. I heard you say about the sewage and water board. But then we have a person to oversee the sewage and water board that had great credentials but never in this type of environment. We passed over many people within sewage and water board that had the expertise and the history to hire an outside with no experience. Uh, and you said that's just one thing. I believe the city, if I'm not mistaken, last year we had, I believe, close to 19 million tourists to come into this city.
Yeah, I think that's accurate from what I've heard.
Yeah, yeah, we had 19 million
Yeah,
to come into a city with a population of less than 400,000. Yeah. And you don't see no real economic impact. You know, when you have that many tourists coming to a city, and that's only one of the major industries, because you could also look at the Mississippi River, the Gulf of Mexico. We have money flowing everywhere into the city, where mistakes by a politician doesn't really matter as long as the wheel keep turning. Everybody making money. And as for that, New Orleans is on a trend all the way up until it stopped. When they start seeing the number of tourists going down as the way it's been going up, when they start seeing that the Mississippi and the Gulf of Mexico have been destroyed, then we may wake up and decide that it's time for to do something. But in most cases, it'd be too late.
Well, yeah, I know you're referring to some environmental issues that you know all about and are observing that too, and no doubt important because that's going to control our fate no matter what we do, unless we manage things right. That's for sure. Um, but the example you mentioned, the sewage and water board, my premise is that I believe we have a lot of good workers there. I mean, vast majority, and there and in City Hall. I think the management is the issue, and I think and you referred to Mr. Corbin, who I don't know him, but I understand he was a good engineer. Um, so so we have, to me, it's the governance and it's the political patronage. I mean, there's a reason it's not just the water department or the drainage department like in other places. It's there to give power to the mayor. And it's like, even though it's somewhat of a train wreck in terms of the outcomes and the engagement with their operations with the public, they don't tell people anything, by and large. And there have been many investigations about things not running right there. Let's call it systemic dysfunction is what I would call it. And it's regressive. It's affecting the least fortunate the most all over the city. And there's just no doubt about that. We see it every time. Yeah, flooding hits the underinsured the hardest, and people making their way up get kicked right back down when with the outcomes that we have from sewage water board. So they're unacceptable. So when you look at, so the mayor appoints people. We have university presidents, and we have um, you know well-connected, socially known business people that they're good people. So I just wonder if I went up to one of them today and asked any actually board member of the Surgery Water Board, are you accountable for the outcomes? Are you responsible? Because everybody knows the outcomes. And I would think I'd be interesting to hear what they say. They can either say, well, yes, I'm accountable. And say, okay, well, why don't you get out and let somebody who knows what they're doing get in? But I think they're gonna dodge the issue and say, "Well, I'm not really accountable." Okay, so the board members aren't really accountable. And if you'd ask Mr. Corban, if we call him up and ask him, uh, "Did you have much control of operations?" And he probably didn't. So you have a group of people in there that are politically connected to the mayor, and they is a wink and a nod with the mayor, and they do what they want. And I think it's really, I know it, I see the outputs of a system. I know construction processes, business processes from my business experience of organizations way bigger than the Sewage and Water Board. And when you see those outcomes, you know what's going on the inside. So what can we do about it? I mean, I'm trying to ask. I've asked candidates. We'll see their podcasts, but some engage it directly and say we're going to do this, and some just dance around it like they're so afraid. So, what can we do to address entrenched political power things, structures that control things behind the scenes? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a very hard nut to crack, but I
Yes.
believe it can be done. Uh, First thing is people need to understand that we are not customers. We are not customers to this city.
Yeah, that's right. We're not being
We
treated
are
that way.
we are the employers.
Oh yeah.
We got
No,
we,
no,
we got
yeah.
to change. We got to change that mindset
No, no, no.
that
I agree.
this
Look,
politician, he worked for us. It's not that we work for him.
yeah, yeah,
He worked for us.
very true.
And we got to be able to accept that and let them know that there will be political consequences.
Uh,
And a politician, once they get in office, and now all of a sudden, billions of dollars is coming through their office. Billions. Contracts, vendors, all of a sudden people that at one time hated your guts and secretly still do is now smiling in your face because they want a contract. And you say about sewage and water, but look at all the contracts that they get issue out every year. Every year. And how many times they offer those contracts and award those contracts to vendors that have a history of poor performance.
for a lot of time,
All
maybe
right. So,
most.
so
Yeah,
again, it's upon us. It's not upon them. October is coming up. Why you think they want me out of this building right now? Shit, because of the fact that they know October is coming up.
mm,
And there needs to be some real issues put on the table. If you want my vote, if you think that you're going to just come here with some hot dogs and some cokes and buy my vote, you're mistaken. And as for those that come, because Laney, every Monday we have a program called Red Bean Monday. We feed now almost 130 people every Monday. Yes, I mean, Monday passed, Labor Day, we still fed over 100 people. You know, so again, the need is great because in this city, this is a city of close to 400,000. But look at the billions that come in it, which make this one of the richest small cities in the world.
yeah. No,
You
you look.
know,
You're so right. Yeah, I mean, we are. I think we have money. We certainly culturally rich. We we, you know, one of the most culturally and architecturally rich cities in the country, and we'll compete in the world. But accountability, okay, we've had trouble. What I'm trying to do is hold them hold them accountable before the election, because people have some notion of hold them accountable after the election, and that we can't do that. We've seen that's impossible. So, but so here um, we have an interesting election. I mean, the whole game's getting ready to get played out, and I think it would be great. I'm doing my best to demand. I don't want a list of, oh, I'm gonna do this. You're gonna have to talk turkey about a plausible plan to do it, and so there are two issues I'm holding up. I mean, if they can't say now that they need to restructure the sewage water board and just have it run professionally, get the politicians, get all the people that don't have gut feelings about the operations. I mean, my plan would be to get a bunch of volunteers. If you let the board be in charge, hire the CEO, and have measures, transparency, goals, outcomes. And if people don't cut it, us shareholders who own the city would, will demand a system where whoever's not cutting it gets fired, and we get somebody else in there. The people can't afford other than to have this thing operated as if it would be a private company somewhere. You wouldn't have the shenanigans that are there now, and you wouldn't have the outcomes. So I'm holding that up. If they can't do that, then I don't think we can get the city straight. That's uh, again, lack of technology. Just same few contractors. We're not looking at technology from the world to address some of our engineering challenges. Are thinking from the big world. We're just going to continue with this regressive force in the city. And if they can't talk about that, I think we're in trouble. I know we're in trouble. I don't think we're in trouble. And then my other one that I ask about, and it's important to me because of my work with the program over in Algiers, Greg over at Heroes. And um, it's what is, we're failing our youth. And the city hands out resources politically, which spread it around. There's some nonprofits don't even have a program, and some do and have measured results. And the city just needs to play an adult role. We need some adults in the room, is what I'm thinking. So, what are your thoughts about youth programs?
Well, I'll put it this way. We'll spend over $50,000 per year on keeping one child in a detention center. 50,000. We don't spend nowhere a fraction of this on having wholesome programs in this city. We have volunteers working in Depot Park. Volunteer every year. I mean, sometimes they have to take kids to games or to practice in their own vehicles.
So you see, but you see a lot of upside though if the city can be consistent and not waste the money in overhead.
Laney, the city, it will never change at the rate we are going now. Listen, what it is, 6 weeks in this election, and you never heard no candidates really out here campaigning but one? 6 weeks before the election? Is that giving you enough time to pick a person that's going to run this city for the next 4 years?
And probably
You
ain't.
know, I mean, so you find out that, and that's for all positions. You know, I mean, uh, we've been here over 8 months, and only Delisha and Freddie King have ever came over here. 8 months. And we serve over 2,000 people per month. And we can't get none of them to come here. We've set this place up as a disaster zone, as a place of a shelter. You dig? We have it set up here. You dig? And none of them have came here. So again, when you see this kind of action in the city, can you really say that city gonna change? You think where all of a sudden you got 6 weeks to elect a person to run this city for the next 4 years? I mean, no one can do this. No, there's not one effect, and you're a businessman, and you know that to make the kind of decision that we have to make in 6 weeks, it's not tolerated in business.
No, it's
Look, so again, so when you say run that agency as a business, we need to run this city as a business. I mean, not just one entity, the whole damn city need to be ran. It needs to be ran as as close to a private business as possible.
That's right.
Because
with some exceptions, a few exceptions, but right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, Laney, when you look at here, we just celebrated Katrina. Had nothing have changed. If a hurricane happened right now in this city, the outcome will still be the same. You still have the poor going to the refuge of last resort. I doubt if it'd be the Superdome because they've just renovated the Superdome, but they'll find some other entity to put them all in. And they still telling people the same thing. Come outside and catch the bus, and we're gonna bring you to the train station. But nobody knows where you're going until you get to the train station.
Or if the buses or trains will be there.
Oh yeah, I mean, so again, we haven't learned nothing, but we'll sit up there every year and give a celebration, make a show. This. But that's for Karen, because I'm gonna tell you, one of the things that we're planning on doing here, and I'm talking about those who come here for service, those who witness the service that we provide, whether we are here or not. We're going to pull them to the table. You're going to have to explain to me, what is your plans for Algiers? I mean, what is your plan? What you going to do? How you going to change the conditions in Algiers? How you going to change the fact that you have toxic chemical tankers that sit days next to the only park in this area? How are you going to make sure that if we get hit with another hurricane, that Gretna will open up its parish to us? How are you going to make sure that that service is provided? I mean, listen, I look at the Arthur Mundy Center. That's only 3 blocks from here. We serve 10 times as many people as being served at the Arthur Mundy. If you go in there right now, it's like a mausoleum.
Yeah.
It's well kept.
Yeah,
but it's a well-kept mausoleum. You
I've
dig?
been
And
there.
these are the things that we have to talk about, holding them accountable, holding politicians' feet to the fire. Make them say, if you're gonna represent me, because see now, uh, you know, just in my family, you dig, there's 4 generations, and you're gonna have to prove to me in this community where I was born and raised how it's gonna survive. We've been having movies being made here for the last 10 years. They have made billions of dollars making movies right here in Algiers. And Algiers haven't received anything. Our 2 high schools haven't received any real benefits from it.
Well,
So
listen.
again, it's upon us, Laney. It's upon us to say that, yeah, we got 6 weeks. But we're gonna make each day of those 6 weeks count.
No,
We're gonna get involved. We're gonna
we
learn what is the most pressing issues our city is facing.
well we know, one good thing is that we all know and agree on the problems. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We had agreed that nothing works. Okay, it's like a team without a coach. It's like a junior league team without a coach. Okay, an ice cream stand nearby. They can't get off the good stuff, and then they don't play the game. And this friend of mine, every once in a while, he'd say, "Laney, would you believe this doesn't work?" And I told him, I said, "Wait a minute. We agreed that nothing works. I'm telling you, that includes everything. Okay." And your comment's right. We own the city. We're the shareholders. We just like to be treated like customers when we show up for things like permits and other cities. See, people. We have a lot of people who maybe don't travel a lot and they don't see what other cities have, and they think, oh yeah, everybody's got their garbage. Because my work with the kids in poverty over at Heroes, uh, people talk about, well, they only know what they see. And it's like, okay, well, but that applies to all of us too. Okay, it's just that those kids have seen limited things, and we need to show them a bigger world. But we have to realize that we all have more to learn, and more that we can see. But one of the things, I've spoken to a lot of politicians, just offline and on here on this program, and uh, my the ones who've only done politics, okay, and really don't have hands-on skills in other areas, all they see is political outcomes. They don't see the outcomes that work for us. They just see the game of politics, and it seems like we had no separation of policy and politics. Our official policy is politics. And back when we had a big companies, a lot of more outside money, a growing city, um, it was like politics is a social activity, and that's politicians say, let's go hang out, blah blah blah, and let's do a lot of talking and let's not do anything and let's have a party. The biggest party I'd like to have would be if we had a mayor and council who totally swear off political operations and totally commit to open, transparent auditing of everything, customer responsiveness, and dashboards. Wouldn't the jazz funeral to celebrate the passing of the old New Orleans political order would probably be the size of a Super Bowl party.
Well,
Okay.
listen, we have to sober up because right now we drunk on prosperity.
Well, that's
We got to sober up. We got to sober up and say that wow, so the house do need to be clean, you know.
well,
But
our
right now
bottle.
we so drunk on prosperity. Right now you got more concern about the Saints and this new season under a new coach than we have on electing officials that's gonna govern our lives for the next 4 years. And you
Yeah,
can't tell me that a sober-minded man would care more for a sports team that benefits this city. You dig? And I can understand because I'm a Saints fan, but not to the expense that I think that uh, what happened to the Saints is more important than what happened to the city of New Orleans. Dig?
Well,
I live
you,
in this city. You think I don't live
yeah,
in the same
yeah,
stadium?
yeah.
I live here. I've never been to no boots and all that with to watch no game. I watch the Saints religiously on the best seat in the house, and that is in my living room. So I'm cool with that, and we starting right here. If we continue to be here, we're gonna have tailgate Sunday. You dig right here. You dig? But
I'm,
at the same time that we're doing this tailgating, you dig? We're gonna also be asking some real questions.
yeah.
What do
Look,
you think about this? You dig? And we welcome any candidate to come to it. You dig? Come out there on Mondays. Don't just say it. Come out here and see it. You come out here and talk to these people that's out here. Because I tell you what, I truly believe that if you can influence one person to vote, that one person can influence 10.
well, I
They
think you've
go
just,
again,
I
but
think you've
you,
just,
but see, Laney, if I don't see nothing change, if I see just the same old thing, the only time you're gonna come around is when you want to vote. Other than that, you don't care about what's happening in this community. You're gonna get what you just what we have of people that really don't believe that their vote count. And you got to change that mindset to let them know that yeah, your vote do count. You think you are somebody. And if you don't think that you're look at how you're being treated in this city. You think
well,
I mean if we just took just a small portion of the money that we are wasting on sewage and water board, just a small portion of it, and address the the unemployment crisis that exists in certain communities. You
yeah,
dig? We can end the violence and reduce the crime. You dig? So if we do this, then this gonna benefit more. Listen,
well,
I'm trying to. I've there's a company called Uptown Recycling, and we're hopefully be entering into a partnership where we're gonna pick up recycle old tires, all the tires that have been
boy,
just dumped.
yeah, we
You
need
dig? We'll
that.
pick them up. We'll pick them up. And this is a man that have a track record in the recycling business. But we have entered into the partnership. Now we're gonna pick them up.
Yeah,
That's
we,
just one thing.
yeah,
You think we talking about how can we change this city? And people have to get involved. That's a small way. You think, but I tell you what, we're looking at employing maybe 40 people. You
yeah.
know,
Listen,
but that's 40 people that now have an income. So
we,
again, when you start doing these kind of things and you start integrating business, you dig, with community activists,
well,
you dig, then
what,
you go come up with candidates that's gonna do what they have agreed to do. Because most candidates, I'm not saying all, but most candidates, and you're a doctor, you know it. Most candidates, once they get elected, they come down with this chronic disease called I Don't Recall. I don't recall saying this. I don't I don't recall saying that. You dig? No, you don't recall. Well, then maybe we have to do with some would have been proven to be we have to I'll let you know we're gonna be a thorn in your side. You ain't gonna sit idly by and give contracts away to individuals that have a proven track record of poor performance. We ain't gonna
Well,
allow this. We're gonna make
listen.
sure.
You just described one of my pet things. I've said the politicians, they understand money, but they really don't get value creation. It's only entrepreneurial types know the concept of value creation. And you just described one. Taking a problem, turning into an asset, employing some people. That's value creation. And and I don't think I'd love to hear a little speech or something about value creation from our mayor candidates, because they're going to be running the city, and and because I hear things like about economic development and doing this and that. The best economic development we could do is to is fix the traffic lights and the street lights and like the one-way signs. I think what uh, the again, these people without hands, I don't expect them to have hands-on business experience. Okay, um, but what they don't get, they'll put together some big presentation for somebody, typically with political appointees and not performance-based people. Our economic development people are probably putting up data that the customer knows better than them, because our customers show up. They got everything online. They know how many people walk where and go where and do this and do that. And it'd be nice if our people had the same data, you know, using technology and whatever it takes. And, so then, we might get a pitch with incentives, but these people could go to an uptown restaurant, drive around town and look at the streets and say, these people can't take care of themselves. How are they going to help us create value for our company? And that's the part that, if you want economic development, uh, just do the basics. It's basics that an urban government has to do for life, you know, safety and life of its people. If they could do that, that's better than any economic development plan I've heard.
I'm gonna tell you, and I don't have any credentials,
Oh,
but I know
okay.
this.
Yeah.
If you're doing business with me and you started, and a minimum of 3 days pass before I see you again, you won't get paid. You know, you won't get paid. I cannot see how we are tolerated, and that's on us because we
Yeah.
ride down these funky streets. We ride down. It's not like this is just on TV. We experience every day. Now on certain stations, they even have a segment on the news dedicated to how bad these streets are.
Oh, there's an Instagram account too. It's called
You know?
Look at this fucking street. It's on
All
Instagram.
right. So again, we have to, we know it. We have to hold them accountable. How can you come to me and tell me that you want my vote and I got to ride down these streets? How can you come to me and there's no programs to really address our youth in this city or in my district? How can you come to me? And that's all we need is one. And that one, if he do right, he'll shame the other seven.
Yeah.
I mean the other
Well,
six into doing what they supposed to be doing. That's all we need is one. One that
so
we know that truly represent their district.
you've seen my term, bull gas, bull gas is bullshitting and gaslighting put together.
Mm,
You know, and
mm,
it's on the website. I picture it like a blue cloud. You know, it's the color of portalet blue, and it's got a big bull. So you know, look at our website, bull gas.
mm,
We get bull gas by politicians. They lie to us and tell us everything's wonderful in the same same phrase.
but see,
And
but
yeah,
see, you're one of the few. You're one of the few that have the means and stand up for justice. You're one of the few. The majority, again, is they are. Listen, only drunken people will elect the most powerful person on this planet that we all agree upon is drunk on power.
yeah,
You know. So again, we allowed this to happen because we gave other things. Laney, I work under the of so goes the Gulf, so goes America. So goes America, so goes life as we know it on this planet. It's we're in a real crisis. And the only way that we're gonna overcome these crises is not finding fault. We're not
right,
through a blame game, because it's all of our fault. You know, you can't fault the gas industry if you're using their products. Yeah. No, it's all of our fault. But we at a position now of what type of future we gonna leave to that next generation. Will we have to change the license plate? You know,
yeah. Yeah,
uh,
look, you so right, and you know, it'd be nice if New Orleans is around to deal with those issues in any form that's respect our culture and our natural assets. Well, look, we have to. I think I think we might be a little bit over time, but it's all right. Look, this I I always so much respect and appreciate your perspective because I know it comes from all heart, all kindness and all heart. And we all, we feel about our city like it's a person, like it's an entity. It's got, and I don't know of any other cities where people feel that way about it. And we like disappointed in our relationship with it. And we wonder why can't they get it straight? And I like your analogy of being drunk. But I think the bottle's getting ready to run out, and it's going to be there's going to be some shakes, a whole lot of
yeah.
shaking going on
Oh yeah,
uh,
oh yeah.
because we
Oh,
we
I
run
agree with that. I
yeah
agree with that.
we're running
It's,
it till it breaks and it's broken.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
anyway, okay. Well, look, it's great to see you, and I
All
appreciate
right.
this. And you've given us, I think, a lot of quotes for our social media effort. And I'll be looking for you on TikTok on our TikTok site. So,
All
but
right.
I appreciate it, and unless when we get our schedule straight, I'm gonna go to one of your lunches, and then you and I take off and go do our own lunch another day. So,
All right. Let's
all
take
right,
care.
yeah,
Take care and give your family my heartfelt
I
regard.
I will tell your that person I know that you got in your office, your house, tell her hi too. So,
All right, I sure will.
so well, that's my friend Malik. He calls it as he sees it. I think his thinking, his wisdom, I think more people should hear it, especially this election. I think listening to him just reminds us about being a little reflective and assessing our situation and what can we do about it. I've been saying consistently. We're going to need more engagement, especially after this election, from all the camps, everybody. We need a Team New Orleans. We own the team. It's interesting. He referred to, more energy, emotional energy, this and that, every kind of energy in sports outcomes versus our election outcomes. That's what's good and bad about our city. We love to have parties, but the bad things, we love to have parties. We just think everything's okay, and they're taking care of that. Well, they are taking care of that, and we see the outcomes right now. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get the right issues brought up in the right manner, and some persistent negative structures in the city are addressed. So a lot more coming. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
This has been a BAM Network production.